you go to Congo, they are not comfortable with Nigerians. If you go to Zimbabwe and Zambia, they are not comfortable with Nigerians. In fact, even a country that is close to Nigeria as Ghana have a problem with the Nigerians. There is a problem, there is a general trait that Nigerians have. There's unnecessary aggression that other people don't find comfortable.
Why do you think there's seemingly an influx of Nigerians in most African countries?
Because their country, I think because of the terrorism effect that is going on in their country, and again because of the bulging population and the high rate of unemployment, so they are operating like Chinese. They are finding a way they can deposit their population. Unfortunately, they are depositing themselves with their Nigerian cultures, which do not fit in us. Even in Nairobi here, when you go to Kilimani here, we always see Nigerians opening, wanafungua bunduki, wanataka kupigana na the Kenyans. Those kind of things we have to make sure that they stop. If you go to Donholm, they are doing very crazy things with our ladies, and those are the things that in fact, even this week on Sunday, the police arrested 3 people. Some of them were Nigerians with fake money. M-Pesa, they are hacking into our M-Pesa. They are having fake money, illegal trade that are done by these guys. We are only asking Nigerians and other foreigners in our country that let them live within the norms and traditions of the people of that host country.
So what's up, good people, and I hope you're well where you are today. And there's something that I want to talk about, and the question we've been asking ourselves every day is about Nigeria, because everyone's talking about Nigeria in a negative way. However, it's important if we also look at the positive sides, that things that Nigeria has contributed to Africa, or generally try to recognize them and give them their due respect. You see, I understand that there are a couple of things they've done to us. Personally, to me, I've ever done something with Nigerians. I've ever been scammed by Nigerians, but that doesn't, make me be blind to the things that they've done in raising the African flag. And in as much as you saw that, you've seen that video, it's so sad. It's really sad video that our brother had to say that, okay, there's some truth in the video, because also some things which I'm going to address. So guys, the following are the things that Nigerians have achieved. Number one is London Gatwick Airport, with 30 million people who fly through it. It is owned by Nigeria. Imagine Nigeria as an airport which can hold 30 million people, which is owned by the Nigerians. So in as much as we are seeing the negative parts of them, they also have some things which makes them being recognized as one of the biggest African countries that we have today. Also, in the field of robotics, Apple's Mechamon, world first gaming robot, sold exclusively by Apple. It was made by Nigerians. So the Apple company that you're seeing today in the field of robotics, that was the first gaming, robot which was sold exclusively by Apple, and its own was made by the Nigerians. So we need to give them their respect for the things that they've done in raising the African flag. Also in leadership, the first African leader to lead the World Trade Organization as Director General, she was a Nigerian. I've forgotten her name, but try find out that Africa Trade Organization, she was a woman who led as Director General, so she was Nigerian. You also need to understand that. Also, Africa's richest man comes from Nigeria. He's a business tycoon. We all know he's called Dangote, or Dangote. People call him Dangote. So Nigeria has represented us very well in Africa, you see. Also in sports, Victor Osimhen is the goal leading player in Africa when it comes to Africans in the football sector. He has represented us very, very well. Also in boxing, we have 2-time unified world champion Anthony Oluwafemi Joshua. You see, he's a 2-time unified world champion. He has been working well in representing Africa in the field of boxing. Also in music, we have Rema, who holds record of the world most streamed on Spotify by African artists, which is true. So this makes us see as Nigeria as a big country. Nigeria as as a great country for in representing Africa. However, there are a lot of complaints about Africa. So let's see what are the reasons as to why people complain about Nigeria. And What's the problem? Majorly, it's on economic challenges, which we are going to address them in the video. So guys, let's watch the video. So to begin with, we have a lot of economic challenges which is going on in Nigeria. Remember, even if it has one of the largest economy, remember, where there is a blessing is where there is an inherent problem. Nigeria is so rich in everything. Most of it I haven't even said, but I do recognize that. But always remember, a tree with fruits is the same tree that faces a lot of problem, which includes growing. And Nigeria is not left out in this. So guys, let's see how Nigeria has a problem. So Nigeria, economic challenges have been significantly factors pushing people to leave the country. High unemployment rates, especially among the youths, limited access to quality education, and inadequate healthcare services have been persistent issues. For instance, according to data from 2021, Nigerians' unemployment rate was around 33%, driving many to seek better opportunities elsewhere. Yes, there are less opportunities in Nigeria and generally in Africa, but for them, Nigerians, they have a given personality. They like to work hard, which is true. So they are forced to leave their countries to go to other African countries. So that's number one reason as to why they seek opportunities out elsewhere, because also they try to find ways in which they can provide for themselves. And there's nothing wrong with a person who, works hard to provide for themselves, which includes getting passport and leaving your country, which is okay, because it's true, there are no opportunities in Africa. And specifically, some people see that maybe it's in Nigeria where there are no opportunities, so they decide to, move out of their country to go to elsewhere. Number two is political instability. Yes, this is something which, happens in Africa, not even generally in Nigeria. When there are political instability, of course, people will leave their countries to seek refuge in places where at least it's safer. And that's something which is normal, so we should not blame Nigerians for that. But there is a problem, because when they got there, there's some things which happen and then it remains an issue. So political instability, ethnic tensions, and security concerns in various regions like the Niger Delta and the northeastern part of the country due to Boko Haram insurgency have contributed to internal displacement and migration. For instance, the conflict with Boko Haram has resulted in thousands of deaths and the displacement of millions of people within Nigeria, with some seeking refuge in neighboring countries. Yes, that's another reason which makes, them to leave to go to other African countries. It's not in their liking. There's some things you cannot stop. I mean, when there is a political instability in a country, that's something we cannot stop. So it's something which happens and you have to seek help from somewhere. It's normal for a person to migrate from one place to another. But again, the problem that comes with this is this, because everyone has been complaining about Nigerians there, Nigerians here. So I've also tried to find something that I can, find and do research about it. So this is when Nigerians migrate to other African countries, they often bring their entrepreneurial spirit and skills. However, this can sometimes create competition or tension with local businesses in these countries. For example, in South Africa, there have been instances of xenophobic attacks on Nigerian-owned businesses due to competition and perceptions that foreign-owned businesses are taking opportunities away from the locals. Yes, this is something that I've always been saying. You see, I've stayed in Kenya for a long time. I've been born in Kenya, around 23 years in Kenya since I was born. Look, when I go and buy something from a person, they'll expect me to buy it the next day, and the next day, and it will become a routine. So when they see me going to buy from another place, it makes them feel bad. I'm talking from a life experience. I've ever been looked at badly because I just went and bought, some fruits from a different person, because I'm used to go to buy from this specific person. So I had to go to the person and tell them that, you see, I just bought it today and I'll come there tomorrow. So imagine if this can happen with a person that they don't know. It's something which is normal. So when we feel like we are competing, it's a problem. That's where this thing called xenophobic comes, because they believe that when you come to our country, they'll take jobs,
which are already there. And this is not only for the Nigerians, even the Chinese who come and sell their products in Africa. A lot of businesses, a lot of African people who do business complain about this every day, because this is something that, they feel like it's competition and it's making them lose profits, because the same product they come and sell them cheaply to you. So they feel like it makes them, lose market in the things that they are doing. And this is a problem, This is where people say that, they are coming, they're taking our jobs, they're taking things, and all such kind of complaints that are happening. So I think it's important if we create a healthy competitive environment where anybody can come and thrive, whether you are Nigerian, whether you are, whether you are any type of place where you come from, it doesn't matter. Also, we have this thing called educational migration. Nigeria has one of the biggest, universities, of course, because that's where most of great writers come from. Talk about Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, name them, they have many. But people, depending on their skills, they want to, try to find different places where they can study. As a result, they migrate to other countries, and some also decide to make a living from there. So Nigerians often migrate to countries like Ghana and South Africa for education. In Ghana, for instance, there have been reports of increased enrollment of Nigerian students in universities. According to statistics from previous years, Nigerian students comprised a significant portion of international students in Ghanaian universities, potentially creating competition for admission. So you see, when a lot of Nigerians go to places like Ghana, it creates a competition, because it means that every school, every university has a given number of intake of students. Now, when we have a lot of intake of students, they have to limit them. Now, you could imagine when another country comes to your country with a number of students who also want to study. So you see, the intake of people in that country will reduce, because they have to also include exchange programs from other students from other countries, which also happens in the school that I am, University of Nairobi, because we normally receive students from different countries through the exchange program that happens in our school. So you realize that this intake, when we have a lot of enrollment, Nigerian enrollment students, it creates a lot of competition, and they feel like, we have a lot of influx of students in our country. So that's another thing which also brings a problem amongst them. You see, the issue of students in schools, this is something which is, it's so small, because I don't think that's a place where we should make our African brothers and sisters from Nigeria, feel like they are coming to our country and taking opportunities. Education is something which is better, and if a person can travel to get a better education that they believe in that school they are getting a better education, I think that's better off, because it's important if they get what they think it's important to them. If I had a chance, I could also go to South Africa, to university, Johannesburg, to study, because education is power, and where you feel safe to study, that's where you go, and that's where they also go, you see. But the problem is, when they land there, of course something has to happen. Introduction of new culture, you see, different habits starts happening, and it brings a lot of problems to the people who are there, because they're not used to seeing these things. Just like any other place, not only Nigerians, just like any other place, when you move to a different place, it causes a lot of problems, because you have to bring your social life in that place, because as a human being you exist as a social animal, economic animal, and political animal. Now, when you start putting out these things to people, some people may not agree with them, and some people may start going against you, fight you about it. And the same is happening with our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. Another thing is this, Nigerians are perceived as criminals, not criminals, but they are perceived as people who have criminal activities. Talking from experience, I've ever been scammed by Nigeria. I was scammed through Instagram, but it's okay, that was my learning process. But again, that doesn't make all Nigerians bad people. I normally don't like putting people in a given pool, like general pool, that if I was scammed by a Nigerian, that all Nigerians are bad people. No, Nigerians are not bad people. It's just for a few individuals who want to find ways of surviving. And another way of surviving is maybe scamming people. That's what they believe. And it's okay, because that's a smart way of scamming a person. The way I was scammed, I could say it was a smart way. I never saw it coming. And later on I realized I was scammed and it happened. But that's not a problem, you see. Now, June 13th, 2023, actually this year, the president of Seychelles, Afif, they banned Nigerians in Seychelles because they are activities to deal with drug trafficking. So they wanted to stop these drug traffics in Seychelles. That's why they tried stopping these activities from happening. So you understand that people have ways of surviving, and it includes drug trafficking, that they take them to different places. No, I'm not promoting drug trafficking. It's a bad thing, of course, but that's a way of a person's living. And if a person finds in that's the way they can live, they do drugs, and maybe they sell it when it comes successful to them, and they feel like it's okay to them for these things happening because it brings them money. But again, what are the social problems of these things that causes the people who uses this thing? That's where people have problems with Nigerian, because most of them have been caught trying to traffic drugs. That's why the vice president of Seychelles, Afif, tried to stop them. I don't know if they have opened for them to go to Seychelles. I don't know. Tell me in the comment section what you think. Another reminder, this video doesn't create hatred. I'm trying to create understanding between the two people. Now, this is happening in our African brothers and sisters. What can we do about it as Africans? Tell me in the comment section. Try to enlighten a brother. What can we do about this? We can't keep on complaining about one country, And I believe that the same country have a lot of achievements. Some of them I've told you. And, some things that happen, they happen to us and they affect us as Africans. So in what ways can we help with these things? That's the question we should ask ourselves. How can we help with such kind of things which are happening around us? Tell me in the comment section what you think about this. Another thing that I want to talk about is refugee status and political asylum, which happens within the people of Nigeria. So, Nigerians seeking refuge or asylum in countries like Cameroon due to conflicts in northern region of Nigeria have strained resources. As of 2020, there were reports of over 60,000 Nigerians refugee in Cameroon, putting pressure on the host country's resources. Yes. When a person moves from their country because of political instability, as I've said earlier, of course, they have to eat, they have to sit somewhere. Of course, they are occupying a space. Now, this will put pressure to the resources which are there. Of course, it's normal. It's not even about Nigerians, but generally it happens to, it happens to people. When people come together, there have to be pressure which has to be put on resources, because if it doesn't match the equilibrium of people and the resources, of course, there will be a strain in the resources. Now, the government sees this as a problem, sees this as a burden, because when political instability is continuing happening in Nigeria, they will migrate, of course, and they'll seek refuge from other countries. But when it gets a lot, it means that they'll start complaining. And some people will live in other parts of Africa, for example, in Cameroon, the way it has been indicated, and it will bring a lot of, strains, people fighting over resources, even Nigerians fighting against themselves, you see. So this is something that we need to address as Africans. And how can we help with this? How can we come and help with this? What can we do to stop such kind of things? Because we can't be complaining about Nigeria. Here come, here go, Nigerians did this, Nigerians did that. They are our brothers and sisters. We must have a way of finding help, a way of helping them, coming up with ways of helping them. What can we do as their brothers and sisters?